Coming up on this episode of Iowa Life, we'll meet an Iowa City author whose latest work has been made into a feature film.
Literally maybe 2 weeks after it's sold, I started talking to producers who were interested in optioning it.
We'll learn about training dogs to assist people with disabilities.
So our hearing dogs are those dogs that can keep playing the game. They can come alert you and take you to the sound, and that's really reinforcing to them, like, hey, I heard it, I'm gonna come get you, I'm gonna take you to it.
We'll meet an Amish family that raises chickens near Kelowna.
My children help us on the farm here, gathering eggs.
And we'll take a trip back in time to remember the early years of RAGBRAI.
We had this daydream to bike across Iowa, and we were going to bike across Iowa and invited a few close friends.
It's all coming up next on Iowa Life.
Funding for Iowa Life is provided by
The Pella Roll Screen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
and by the Laney Grimm Fund for Inclusive Programming at the Iowa PBS Foundation.
Hi, I'm Charity Nebbe, and this is Iowa Life. I am in the nonfiction writing house at the University of Iowa, where Rachel Yoder is an assistant professor. Rachel is also a best-selling writer who grew up in a Mennonite community. I had the chance to sit down with her and talk about how her experiences led to a darkly funny novel, compelling enough for the big screen. How would you describe the environment you grew up in?
This was an intentional Mennonite community of sort of leftover hippies. It was on a land trust, so, you know, many, many acres, all adjacent. Everyone built their own houses. Everyone gardened. You know, there was like a swimming hole. It was actually really idyllic in a lot of ways. I was so ready and so confident and wanted to get out in the world. I was sort of like, I can do anything. I'll take on anything. I had this moxie that I don't know where it came from.
When did you first think that you wanted to be a writer?
I grew up in the library. My mom was a librarian, so it was always something that had been with me. And it wasn't until I met my writing mentor in Arizona, and she said, you know, there's grad programs and people teach and people can be writers. Not until that moment when I really thought, oh, I could maybe do something with writing.
I want to talk about Night Bitch.
Sure.
It is a novel that kind of defies genre. I feel like I've seen it referred to as horror, comedy, speculative fiction. How do you describe it?
It's about a one-time artist turned ambivalent stay-at-home mom who thinks she might be turning into a dog. Night Bitch.
Where did this idea come from?
It came, you know, it came from a joke my husband and I had when I became sort of feral at night and would maybe snarl when awoken. And so it was something we joked around about. And then as I was getting back into writing after having stopped once my son was born, I thought, wow, it would be a really bad idea to write a book that literalizes this Night Bitch joke that we've been making. But it seemed really fun. It seemed like a fun challenge. It seemed ridiculous. And so I dove into it.
He's super cute. Do you just love getting to be home with them all the time? Yeah, I do. I love it.
So right after I sold the book in January of 2020, literally maybe 2 weeks after it sold, I started talking to producers who were interested in optioning it, which had not even been on my radar. I didn't understand how they got the manuscript. It was very confusing. But we wound up striking a deal with Annapurna, which is a production company. And the film actually for films got made very quickly.
Mama fuzzy.
I'm not fuzzy. I just feel off. Look at my teeth. See how sharp they are?
It's a little bit weird. Motherhood, it changes you. It connects you to some primal urges.
Marielle Heller, the director, came on the next year, and the film was really wrapped by 2022, so that's 2 years. The stars just really aligned. Even the producers on the film would say to me, I don't know how this is getting made. I don't either. It was produced by 6 women, which is also not the norm. I only really worked with women on this film, which was an incredible experience.
Now, you got to be at the premieres, different premieres of the film, but there was an Iowa City premiere at the Refocus Film Festival at the Englert Theater, and you were there and got to be part of the conversation afterward. What was that experience like?
That was such a dream because I've lived here for 15 years. These are my people. This is my community. The book really grew out of, very literally, this community. There are identifiable locations in the book that people can kind of map onto Iowa City. So being able to share that with everyone, it really felt like the movie is not mine to a certain extent. The book is not mine either. And being able to say we all sort of own this, felt incredible. And what a long way I've come to feeling like so isolated, so alone in early motherhood, and now to have this incredible community is really, really touching, yeah.
In writing about motherhood in that way, how did your own experiences influence the characterization?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely relate with this feeling of isolation and loneliness and not really knowing where to find my group, my pack of support. And I think that's really, one of the main engines that drove the book, right? Was if there were a book I could have read when I was in that loneliness, what would it be? What would it sound like?
And you hear from a lot of moms who say, I identify with this. Mm-hmm. What do you want women in particular who read this book to take away from it?
I mean, I think if moms, women feel less lonely, feel seen, feel witnessed. That's one thing about Night Bitch is that she has no one to sort of witness her story. She doesn't really show up. None of her experience is tracked really by anyone. And there's something about that. Inside of that, you sort of feel like you're disappearing. You can feel like you're disappearing in motherhood. And so when I hear from women and they say, you see me, I understand how powerful that can be.
In Rachel Yoder's novel, dogs represent our animal instincts. But dogs' natural instincts can also help people engage more fully with the human world. Service dogs can protect their people by detecting medical emergencies, alerting them to dangers, or providing emotional support in stressful situations. Deafinitely Dogs in Cedar Rapids provides meticulously trained service dogs and therapy dogs to help institutions and individuals.
I want you to practice now on saying no, because sometimes you got to think about the people that we serve, they may not be able to hear a person ask if they can pet their dog. Or we might have somebody with PTSD who really doesn't want anybody touching their dog. And so we want the dogs to be able to have somebody approach them and say, hey, can I pet your dog? And you're like, no, thank you, not right now. Or you can just say no and keep walking.
Support animals such as service dogs are becoming increasingly common. Trained with specialized skills, service dogs are frequently employed to help with disability support for issues such as mobility or PTSD. But that's only the beginning of what they're capable of.
Or Definitely Dogs, obviously, DEAF for definitely. We started out in the hearing dog world, but their technology is so good. It's just gotten better and better and better. So we don't get as many requests for hearing dogs as we do for PTSD.
Yes, there's cochlear implants, there's hearing aids, but you take all that out at night and you can no longer hear. Think about how scary that is. You know, someone could be banging down your door and you wouldn't hear it. So you have the dog to alert you to your sounds again.
So our hearing dogs are those dogs that can keep playing the game. They can come alert you and take you to the sound, and that's really reinforcing to them, like, hey, I heard it, I'm gonna come get you, I'm gonna take you to it.
Oh, good boy. Yes, good morning. Rudy is my hearing alert service dog. I actually have what's called reverse slope hearing loss. It's where I hear high pitches really well, but low tones like men's voices or something are more difficult for me to hear. He will use his nose to nudge me and let me know that that sound is happening. And there's certain sounds like my first name that I can even say, show me, and he would go to the person that is saying the name. I mean, he definitely is my best friend. He's my soul dog. I've loved every dog that's ever been in my life, but Rudy is just very, very special.
Rudy is a Definitely Dogs graduate. Raised and trained in Cedar Rapids, Rudy now lives with Bridget, a Kansas City area teacher and track coach originally from northwestern Iowa. While not as common, hearing alert service dogs like Rudy are still out there keeping their handlers safe and alerting them to sounds that might be missed.
So actually, I was just scrolling through social media and something popped up about a hearing alert service dog. And I literally was like, what? That's a thing? And then I came across Definitely Dogs on the internet and I contacted them. And I went to Cedar Rapids, and that is when I met Rudy. And it was, honestly, it was love at first sight, I think, for both of us.
So the idea of a service dog is to enable you, not enable your disability. So we want the dogs to be able to enhance their lives and give them more independence, not make them more dependent for things that they can already do for themselves.
And I think that's one of the important parts is he gives me back my independence. He's been to Arrowhead Stadium, he's been to Royals games, he's been to a Snoop Dogg concert. I guess that it's the one trade-off for having a disability is that's the advantage is I get to have this awesome best friend with me to help me through my day.
Over here, we're gonna go through the TSA type training that we did. So this is our fake TSA.
Service dogs, first of all, they take 2 to 2.5 full years to train. All of our dogs get to grow up and tell us what they love to do and enjoy doing for work. And then they also get to pick their human. That is one thing that we excel at Definitely Dogs is we want to make sure that our dogs are happy, healthy, working dogs and that they want to be with the person that they're gonna spend their entire lives with 24/7.
While Definitely Dogs started with hearing alert service dogs, the highest ambition of its dog training is that of a PTSD service dog matched with a veteran. In more than a decade of training dogs, only the dogs with the best health, behavior, and temperaments have achieved this goal.
I was kind of referred here through the VA, going through a bit of a rough patch in my life. One of them just suggested looking into service dogs. I told them that I had always wanted a dog for a long time, and they kind of pointed me towards a service dog organization. But coming here, being able to train my own service dog, which I did with Dory, and kind of build up a good relationship with her for the past 5 years. I think the longest we've ever been separated is about 2 days. So she is with me constantly when I go to work, when I go to sleep, when I wake up. You know, it really did wonders, I suppose.
They've got a great job. They get to be with their person all the time, every day. Every dog wishes they could do that almost. But when that cape comes off, I want you to turn into a dog. I want you to dig holes. I want you to roll in the grass. Be a dog.
And we were together all of the time. I absolutely love him, and I know it's mutual. He tells me all of the time. Even here at school, there'll be days where the bell will ring and kids will be dismissed. Teachers will come through the door and they'll be like, I'm not here for you, I just need to see Rudy for a second. I mean, Rudy might be an animal, but he's also like my best friend. He just makes me happier. He just makes every day better.
I always just say how blessed I am to be able to have a moment in the life with these amazing people, both our veterans and our applicants who put in the work to get a dog. They are just amazing people who deserve the right to live an independent life. And the fact that I can be part of that, it's a gift.
Iowa is the #1 egg-producing state in the nation, over 1 billion eggs every month. While the Amish may not contribute heavily to this massive commercial egg output, they do add to the state's agricultural diversity and maintain a tie to traditional farming practices.
In Iowa, we're really good at producing food. We produce a lot of pork, a lot of grain. We're the #1 egg producing state by far. We obviously don't have a giant population. As a state, we're exporting food all over the country and all over the world. We're doing it on small family farms. The birds can go outside. We feel like we're doing it the way the consumer is thinking about how their eggs are produced and how they want their eggs produced. And the interest in the organic or more natural foods, we can produce them here in Iowa. Our producers are 60% Amish and the rest are Mennonite. A lot of our farms are right close by.
I'm a farmer, and that's what I do for a living. Do chickens, gather eggs, crop farming, organic crop farming, here north of Kelowna with my family, and enjoy every minute of it. I live here with my wife, Lisa, and our oldest son, Weston, and our daughter, Tanisha, and Tiffany, Karen, and our youngest son is Merle. New Order Amish, we wouldn't have vehicles. Mennonites would have vehicles. We would drive horse and buggy. We wouldn't have all the technology some of the others would have. We would do more physical work, lots of hard work, labor.
We only produce specialty eggs here. Specialty eggs are non-caged birds, cage-free, organic, and pasture-raised all fit into that specialty spectrum. With a large concentration of farms right here, it takes a lot of market to utilize all those eggs. In order to sell all the eggs, we have to market the eggs all across the country. It's way more of an egg flow than like an individual farmer could sell directly. You generally need, 1 chicken per person. So like one of our farmers can service more than all the people who live in Kelowna if every person in Kelowna bought eggs only at that farm. And we have 30-some farms here. Farmers want to be able to farm and produce the products. They don't have the time and the resources to do all the sales and marketing that it requires.
My children help us on the farm here, daily chores, gathering eggs. Our regular day would be, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and usually we eat breakfast together, and then we'll go to the chicken house. You can carry the bucket. Ours are organic, free range, and so they would get out into pasture, and I like that for myself. I like to see the chickens out in the green grass. I just think it's better for the chicken. Usually I have 2 of my children. As the belt goes and the eggs come in through, I'll have 2 of the children there picking out the bad ones that we don't want to send to farmer's hen house. I'll stack it on the pallet, and they'll help me gather them as we go. They're children. Sometimes, most times they're in it, but you know how children are. They gotta have fun too. So once in a while, they need some coaching, but they do good. We have 16,000 chickens, produce around 15,000 eggs a day.
In the same footprint that we put, let's say, 20,000 hens, if you have cages, you could fit 100,000 hens in that exact same building footprint. We feel like that's a big difference in how the birds are taken care of. The scale at which you need to do cage production just would not work for our farmers. They couldn't produce at that scale. That's the other reason we do organic and free range and pasture raised is it's a market that our farmers can participate in. For a lot of our farmers, even if they were grading their own eggs, the kinds of equipment that we need requires a lot of technology, a lot of electricity, it's expensive.
You know, there's days I wake up and I wonder, you know, if I wouldn't have a place to sell my eggs, how would I support my family? I have a good relationship with Farmers Hen House, and I really appreciate them giving us small farmers the opportunity to have our own chickens here at home where we can be here with the family, and they do really good in serving the community in that way.
Before we go, we are going to reach back into the Iowa PBS archives to remember the early days of RAGBRAI. The year is 1976, and bicyclists are setting out for their great adventure across the state for the 4th time. Founders John Karras and Donald Call reflect on how a simple idea became a massive annual phenomenon.
It's an insanity. It's called the Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa.
It combines the best elements of biking in Iowa, and you can hardly beat that.
The Missouri River water that we guaranteed you'd be here is over by the light pole on the other side of the sheriff's car.
For the bikers, I'll tell you what I've told you in previous years, take no prisoners.
It was an accident.
Wow.
We didn't really start this.
No,
this
we
happened.
discovered it.
Yeah,
We discovered it. It was out there waiting to
us.
happen, and we're
Yeah.
archaeologists of the future.
It was an accident. Well, we were biking together long before the first Cross Iowa ride. In fact, that's one of the ways it started. We had this daydream to bike across Iowa, and we were going to bike across Iowa and invited a few close friends. Here we are with a few close friends biking across Iowa.
Read about it in Sports Illustrated last year. And then a friend of mine from Avoca received the local newspaper and talked about the bike ride coming through Avoca. So we said, well, let's go.
I follow this every year in the paper. I cut all the clippings out and send to my son who lives out in California. I think it's lovely. I'm enjoying it very much.
I'm having more fun this year than I've ever had before. This year, I have the feeling that for the first time, really, that we're doing the thing right.
Yeah.
That always before, in previous years, there was this tremendous apprehension.
Yeah.
Tremendous apprehension. And this year, that's not around. I don't feel that at all. I'm relaxed about the ride. I'm relaxed about the organization.
There's no good way to explain the success of it. The
chemistry is exactly right.
We welcome you to Jefferson, Iowa.
Jefferson's a very community-minded town for the simple reason is they're proud of their community and they like to show it off. Oh, they love to show it off to strangers.
It's an adventure. It's an adventure for people who lack adventure in their lives.
We love it.
Iowa Valley, I am coming home to you.
That's one of the incredible things about the ride. I would guess that 60–80% of these people have never ridden more than 20 miles at one time. And they think somehow by magic their legs are going to get strong and they're going to ride 430 without hurting. It's just very strange.
They hurt, but they make it.
Careful, stop flat.
I like when they complain to me, I always tell them this, and it irritates them, especially the kids. I always tell them, you have to remember that out of adversity comes strength and character.
And when they complain to me, I tell them, no one invited you. If you don't like it, go away. You can't plan a bicycle ride and say, boy, if the sun shines and it doesn't rain and there's no wind, I'm going to have a good time.
And if it's
you say, man,
degrees.
I'm going to have a good time no matter what happens, and that's what this is about. The rear end's a little sore, but that's to be expected. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this.
You know, it's a little hard work for 7 days, and it's a little letdown at this point.
I enjoy having done it more than I enjoy doing it, as a matter of fact.
Well,
when it's over, I say, oh, that was a good thing. I'm
You
glad I
haven't
did
had
it.
a chance to get in shape this year, that's all.
Iowa Valley, I am on my way home.
That's all for this week. Thank you for joining me as we explore our connections to animals and each other. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time for more Iowa Life.
Funding for Iowa Life is provided by
The Pella Roll Screen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
and by the Laney Grimm Fund for Inclusive Programming at the Iowa PBS Foundation.